conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Working at Continental and Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com. Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
This is Adam Carriker on the ticket.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here's your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome everybody into Adam Carriker on The Ticket. It's lunchtime on a glorious Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you all had a wonderfully, gloriously awesome, phenomenal weekend. Saturday, Sunday as well. Actually, the family and I went back to Brule, Nebraska, and they celebrated their 100th Brule Day. Now, if you've never heard of Brule, don't feel bad. As you go into the wonderful town of Brule, one stoplight, sign outside as you're entering the city says population of 313. I thought it had said 400. I've been saying that for years. I actually looked at it again on Saturdays we went into town. It says population 313. It may not be quite that many people, but it's still a great town, a great place. And at the 100th celebration of Brule Day, it's outside of Ogallala, if you know where Lake McConaughey is, Ogallala, western Nebraska. I got to be honest, I think there was like 500-600 people there. I was like, everybody that lives in the city of Brule grabbed like their top 3 friends and brought them all, and they were there for the 100th celebration of Brule Day, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely awesome. From the parade, of which they threw out tons and tons of candy. My kids don't need candy until Halloween at this point. Pretty much every year, Halloween candy lasts until Easter. Then Easter candy lasts until about now. They're getting a little low in the Carriker house, but now we've got enough candy all the way to go to and through Halloween, to be honest with you. We got like enough candy to go all the way up to frickin' Christmas and New Year's. But the parade was awesome. Threw out a ton of candy, a ton of floats, ton of old school awesome cars, and then they had all sorts of the races, the 3-legged race, the egg toss. Let's just say I have a shirt with egg all over it. So we did not win said egg toss. My partner, my good buddy Phil, does not understand the concept of put a little air under it, make it easier for me to grab. No, he threw it like a 90-mile-an-hour fastball. Thank goodness it didn't come at my face or been all over my face, but it was all over the shirt. So we didn't quite win the egg toss. All right, but it was pretty cool. I mean, it had to have been 400 or 500 people at the Brule 100th 100 Brule Day. And I thought that was kind of cool. Small town, Nebraska, there is no place like it. Whether it is a place like Brule, whether it is a place like Giltner, where my dad was born and raised. Actually, he was born in Hastings. He corrected me on that a few years ago when I said that on a show. But he was raised on a small family farm, Giltner, Nebraska. Okay, and I guess their big-time high school rival, I should say, was Donovan. So we passed by both of those towns going to Brule and on the way back as well. So that was kind of cool. My kids afterwards would not stop asking. And my wife has relatives and family in Brule, that's the tie, and would not stop asking, can we go to Brule Day every year? So they had a blast. Other than the egg that got all over me, I thought it was phenomenal. Had a blast as well. So shout out to the 100th Brule Day. I hope you all had a great weekend. All right. So lots to talk about here. Nebraska had their 1890 open practice this past weekend. We're going to chat about that. Dylan Raiola looked the part in a practice, much like he did in the spring game practice. Looks good so far. No starter has officially been announced. I think at this point, when a starter is announced, if it's anybody but Dylan Raiola, I think 95% of the state of Nebraska would just fall over from absolute and utter shock at this point. He looks pretty good. That is the expectation whenever a starter is announced by head coach Matt Brule at the quarterback position for the Huskers this fall. Going to look at some of the other positions as well. Who ran with the first team on the O-line, the receivers? Who was subbing in at the second team? Who are the running backs? How did this look? It's very early into camp. A lot of camp yet to go. All right, Nebraska doesn't play for over 3.5 weeks. So a lot of practices, a lot of time yet to go. Jobs to be earned, jobs to be lost. Okay, if you're a player, don't look at it that way, but jobs to be earned, jobs to be lost, jobs to be fought for. All right. Amy Just is going to be joining me at 12:30 today. The first time I'll have ever had the pleasure of interviewing Amy. She does a great job. I had the honor of meeting her at Big Ten Media Days. All right. So looking forward to chatting with her. As I mentioned, she does a great job. You can follow her on the social media platforms, X and the follow and the like as well. All right. Oh, real quick shout out, as always, to Bonsall Pool and Spa. As you probably know by now, they are putting in my family's pool. We're getting close out back. All right. Anytime you're building something, there's always fun hiccups that come along. There's always unexpected things that happen. The concrete was a bit of a snag, but like I said, no shock. That's just part of building something. About got the concrete figured out, getting close to getting the pool actually. Well, the storm last week about half filled the pool. Hopefully everybody's safe after that. I know a lot of people, hopefully everyone's doing all right after that. Had some rainwater in our pool, and our kids are like, oh, the pool's getting filled up. I was like, no. Let's pray for everyone who has serious issues going on with this storm. So I hope everyone out there is doing all right. The plan is to, thanks to Bonsall Pool and Spa and all the hard work that they've been doing, check them out at bonsallpool.com to have the pool up and running here in a couple 3 weeks as well, because it hasn't been hot at all this summer. It's been such a cool summer. So cool. So nice. Welcome back to humidity. We just got back to Lincoln, so it's a little bit more humid here, but it's funny. When we first got back to Lincoln, I told my wife, I said, I almost kind of missed it. It's weird. I don't like heat. I like cold weather. I don't like humidity. I'd rather be in 110 degrees of a desert. Okay. Most people don't know this. I actually grew up in a desert. It was like 110 degrees playing baseball. I was a catcher as a kid, pitcher, etc. Wearing all that gear didn't faze me. Come to 90, 95 degrees and with humidity, and that's a whole nother thing, man. I'll tell you what, the hottest I've ever been, though, is when I was doing rehab for my knee down in Pensacola, Florida, and it was mid-August. And we're running on the turf. That was a whole nother level of, oh my God, I have never been this hot in my life. I have never felt like this. Like, we would do sprints, and normally in like a 2-a-day practice or during a hot football practice or a hot conditioning session in the middle of the summer, they've got ice cold towels, and you come over and you get a drink, or they douse you with the ice cold towel every once in a while, and then you go do like 3 or 4 or 5 110s or whatever you're doing, gassers. It's like, no, every time I got back, I was like, I'd run 110 or 1 gasser or whatever it was. It wasn't 2, 3, or 4, but I'd come back after one of it. You got to douse me. Like, I feel like I'm being cooked right now. Like, I tell you what, Pensacola, Florida, with the heat and humidity on turf in the middle of August, that is the hottest I have ever been in my entire life. That was a whole nother level. But we got a lot to talk about today on the show. As I mentioned, Amy Jess is going to be joining me at 12:30. Looking forward to chatting with her. All right, Dylan Raiola, when you think about the expectations, the excitement, how he looked in the spring game, how he looked at the open practice, I mean, he looked good. He looks the part. He looks the guy. And it's interesting. I don't just look at results in practice, because practice is practice and it matters. But you're learning, you're growing, you're developing, you're getting better. Sometimes coaches are trying things that they may or may not do in a game. Sometimes you're trying to get better at something you're not very good at. And so sometimes how a kid looks in practice can be a little misleading. Sometimes they can look better. Sometimes they can look worse. Are you going 1s versus 1s? Are you going 1s versus 4s? So practice can be a little misleading. He's looked good. Every scenario I've seen him in so far, which has always been a practice up to this point, whether it's in the spring, whether it was a regular spring practice, whether it was a regular spring game, by the way, that's just a practice as well, whether it was the open practice the other night, he looks good. He looks the part. But I look at things a little bit beyond just the result of a particular play in practice, because like I said, it can vary. Like, what are the coaches trying to accomplish in this drill? Who are you going against in this drill? Who are you throwing to in this drill? Maybe they're trying to give a guy some reps with the first team that may or may not be with the first team in a game. So maybe that hurts how a quarterback looks. Maybe there's a third string DB over there going against your first string wide receiver. Maybe that helps how you look. And I don't want to say you can jade it one way or the other, but I always take the results in practice. They matter. Don't get me wrong. They matter. But I take them, okay, because there's variables in there. But I look at body language. I look at demeanor. I look at what a kid does when they're on the sideline. And not that, if you're standing by yourself, not that that's a big deal, but if you're over there talking to coaches, if you're right next to the coaches, he's calling the play with another group. Of course, they get a lot of reps. There's a lot of groups going in Nebraska's practice. There's a lot of reps going at all times. Not a lot of standing around for a lot of guys, which I love. What's your body language? What's your demeanor like? Okay. Just kind of the way he carries himself. He carries himself in a positive manner, in a very, like he's in charge type manner, in a positive way. He carries himself like he feels like he's the guy. This is his offense, and he expects to do well. He has a leadership type manner. He has leadership type mannerisms to him that I think older guys will want to follow. Older guys already look like they want to follow. There's a lot of positives to be taken away from what you see in practice as far as results on the field in these plays, as far as body language, as far as how he looks at the line of scrimmage before a play. Does he look like he's comfortable making audibles, which he's a true freshman. There's only so much you can expect of these guys. And it's been said before. I've said it before. I'll probably say it again, all the way up until game one, based on what I've seen. There aren't a whole lot of true freshmen that look like they're kind of ready to go. Like, hey, I've been starting for 3 or 4 years in high school. Hey, yes, he's been to a bunch of different high schools, but he's also used to learning a brand new playbook basically each and every year. It's nothing new to him to have to learn a new playbook. If you ran the same offense in high school for 3 or 4 years, that's not a bad thing. That's a wonderful thing. But you may not be as apt or adept or used to learning a brand new playbook in college. It may take you a little bit longer. Again, not a bad thing at all. But getting a new playbook to him is like nothing. Like, okay, I've done this like 3 or 4 years in a row. I started 3 or 4 places in a row. That can be seen however you want to look at that. But when it comes to learning a new playbook, it's like, all right, here we go. Let's do it again. Like, this is what I've done for years now. There's nothing new to this. And if you listen to Matt Brule this offseason, he talks about how He's in the building early. He's leaving the building late. Like, he's putting in the work and the hours and the time and the effort. And we just watch his body language, his mannerisms. He seems confident. And anytime, nerves are a natural part of competing, not just football, not just sports, but in anything. It could be theater. It could be an art show. It could be anything. Competing, nerves are a natural part. That means you care. That's a good thing. But people tend to be calmer and more relaxed and have a quality demeanor when you start to see leadership qualities, things of that nature. When they're confident, confidence comes from preparation. The more nervous somebody is, it would tend to tell me they may not be as prepared. Now, there's other variables in there as well, but the more prepared you are, the more confident you are, the more calm you're going to be. And if you have absolutely no nerves, you might need to get into something else because you may not care enough. A normal amount of nerves is a good thing because it matters to you. It means you're juiced up. It means you care. But when you're prepared, then there's a confidence that comes with it. And when you mesh a little bit of nerves with confidence, okay, it's called excitement. And that's kind of what I see when I look at Dylan right now. And I guarantee, he shed some tears before the spring game. I guarantee before that first game, it's like a lifelong dream coming true for him. There may be more tears. There's going to be a lot of excitement, a lot of emotions. I've shared this in years past. It's probably been a few years, but there was a lot of games on the sidelines where I'd tear up. Just the emotion of my lifelong dream of playing for Nebraska coming true. The music would hit, the crowd would roar, we'd be on the sideline. Even as a senior, after the coin toss was over, being a captain, I'd tear up a lot. And it didn't matter who we were playing. It could be Timbuktu U. It could have been Oklahoma at the time in the Big 12. The emotions were the same for me because it was my lifelong dream that growing up halfway across the country, I never in a million years thought would come true, coming true. And it was always surreal to me. And so I'm excited. We got, like I said, a lot of practices, a lot of camp, a lot of days to go, but it's getting closer. That UTEP game, I can't wait for it. All right, so Amy's going to be joining me here in a few minutes. I haven't even gotten into some of the other positions just yet. Oh, the whole Patrick Mahomes lookalike thing. I can't believe somebody didn't point this out sooner. Like, during the spring game, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not talking about results on the field because Dylan looked really good. And I've never said it out loud because he's a true freshman, and I don't want to put that on him. But how somebody before didn't point out how much he just looks like Patrick Mahomes is beyond me. Like, he just looks like him. Just does. And like I said, I noticed it right away. I noticed in his body mannerisms, how he just kind of moves with his body, his play on the field, just how he moves. I'm not even going to talk about the results. I'm not going to compare an 18, 19-year-old true freshman to Patrick freaking Mahomes with play on the field, which is why I've never brought it up. I didn't think it was fair. But it's out there now. It's all over the place, how he looks like him. I can't believe somebody didn't notice that before, and probably somebody did. And maybe they didn't say it for the same reason I didn't, because you don't want to put undue pressure on a kid that's already got a ton of hype on him as a true freshman. But yeah, it's uncanny. It's pretty freaking uncanny how much they look alike. So I thought that was interesting that kind of blew up on social media over the weekend as well. All right, real quick. And Amy's going to join me here in about 7-8 minutes, and then we can I'll chat with her about this, and then I can revisit this at the end of the hour as well before the happy hour starts at 1 p.m. Central Time here. All right, the Huskers' first offensive line for team compete period tonight. Bryce Benhart, Micah Mazuka, Ben Scott, Justin Evans-Jenkins, Turner Corcoran. Now, Rule did say that Henry Lutovsky is going to miss a few weeks, but that's the first line that people saw in the first team compete drills. Offense, defense, etc. Ben Scott at center, no surprise. Bryce Benhart, tackle, no surprise. Justin Evans-Jenkins, honestly, no surprise. Micah Mazuka and Henry Lutovsky. Mazuka was out a bit of the spring. Henry was in there quite a bit. I think those guys are kind of competing for that other guard spot. Knowing that Lutovsky is going to miss a few weeks, that makes it hard. Probably gives Micah a little bit of the advantage. Turner Corcoran at the other offensive tackle spot. I mean, Turner and Bryce Benhart have started 8 billion games here at Nebraska. I mean, good Lord, the experience that's going on there. Micah Mazuka has started for now if he starts for us, okay, this will be his third Power 5 school. Baylor, Florida, Nebraska. Right, Ben Scott, Arizona State, started there. This would be his second year starting at Nebraska. Justin Evans-Jenkins, who's as impressive a young lineman as you're going to see. Maybe the biggest, brightest future, and these guys all have potential. A lot of them were very highly recruited coming out of high school. Look at Corcoran, look at Ben Hart. Okay, just a couple of examples, but Justin Evans-Jenkins has as bright of a future as anybody. Okay, and so this is an offensive line with a ton of experience, a ton of highly recruited guys, even though I hear people talk about them like they weren't highly recruited, almost like, how can you forget? Yeah, the play over the past few years has not matched the star rankings and the recruitment rankings and all of that. Hopefully that changes this year. Raiola's back for a third season as the offensive line coach. We have so many guys with so many years of experience and so many starts under their belt on the offensive line. I do anticipate the offensive line being better. This might be the first year, and then we're going to go to a break real quick after this, that I don't use the word potential for the offensive line. My God, this is like my 11th year of covering Nebraska. And I think every year except for this year, I've used the word potential, which means you have the ability to do great things, but you haven't done them yet. And I have not yet, unfortunately, been able to say another word besides potential for Nebraska's offensive line, because they've struggled as of recent years, as people know. This year, I'm not going to use the word potential. I'm going to use the word expectations. We expect this offensive line to be better. Raiola's in his third year. Just talked about all the experience from all of these guys, whether it's years of playing for Nebraska and starting, or years of moving around from Power 5 school to Power 5 school, and now you're here because people wanted you out of the transfer portal, namely the Nebraska Cornhuskers and Matt Brule. I'm not going to use potential. I'm going to use the word expectations. I expect this offensive line to be better. I'm so happy I can finally use a different word besides potential for the offensive line. Now, expectations, pressure. Oh my gosh, how could you put that on them? Pressure or expectations is a privilege. If people don't expect anything of you, you should be insulted and you should get better and you should look in the mirror. The fact that I now have expectations and I don't have to use the freaking P word, potential, to describe this offensive line, that's a compliment. I am rooting for them to live up to these expectations and be much, much better. I think those are very fair, realistic things to say. And instead of using the P word, I'm using the E word for this offensive line. Expectations, ladies and gentlemen. I expect them to be a lot better. All right, we're going to take a little break. I'll be joined by Amy Just. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
McKinney's Irish Pub in the Haymarket is your place for English Premier League soccer. With the season right around the corner starting this Friday, let's recap last year's Premier League standings. Man City won the Premier League with a record of 28-7-3. Arsenal came in second with a record of 28-5-5, and then Liverpool rounded out the top three with a record of 24-10-4. The top teams coming up for this year are, again, Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. You can catch all the EPL action at McKinney's Irish Pub, your headquarters in Lincoln, for English Premier League soccer at 8th and P.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
If the week's been too hectic to even think about dinner, or your family can't handle one more night of leftovers, then it's time to let Hog Wild do the cooking. Hog Wild's family packs are one heck of a good deal for a complete barbecue meal loaded with all the smoked meats, tasty sides, buns, and sauces you need to feed your family. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Are you looking to get into the electrical construction industry or wanting a new scene? The electrical workers of local union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
MWR is dedicated to building attractive, affordable steel buildings that exceed your expectations. From commercial or residential to agricultural storage, steel buildings are cost-effective, attractive, and versatile. Plus, they're a lasting investment and an ideal choice. MWR uses Sentinel Building Systems out of Albion and can service you all over the state and region. If you have interest in a steel building, post frame building, or fencing, give MWR a call today at 402-980-5273 or go to mwrbuildingandfence.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy, hot, and humid with the high around 101. Tonight, mostly clear skies with a low around 69. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and cooler. An afternoon high around 84. Meteorologist Kyle Tucker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Link to Literacy is gearing up for our second annual Wordstock event at Antelope Park on Saturday, August 24th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is a community-wide book swap with a festival feel located near the playground with a free bookstore in the enclosed shelter. It's fun for the entire family and for all ages. You'll enjoy food trucks, live music, kids' activities, a reading corner with celebrity authors and narrators, and of course, free books for all kids and adults. Go to linktoliteracy.org to get the full story and then make plans to attend Wordstock.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scottsbluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. All right, 93.7 The Ticket. You can check them out at theticket.com, X, Facebook, all the social medias, YouTube. You can check us out on Amazon Prime as well. Of course, the radio and the TV as well. Also, Carriker Chronicles officially returns Sunday night. The Carriker Chronicles show officially returns Sunday night, August 25th at 6 p.m. Central Time. If you haven't seen the website, it continues to get added to and updated. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully you think so as well. Check it out, carrikerchronicles.com. Also, we are putting out highlight videos throughout the summer. All right. Until the show officially comes back, check out the Carriker Chronicles on the Tube of You YouTube as well. Now, I am joined at this time by my guest today, Miss Amy Just. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. We had the pleasure of meeting at Big Ten Media Days, so it was my pleasure to meet you. This is my first time interviewing you. And I know Big Ten Media Days have been talked about a little bit at this point, but I want to get your biggest takeaway right off the top from Big Ten Media Days. What stood out the most to you?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about Nebraska specific, or are we talking about the massive conference as a whole?
Let's talk about the massive conference as a whole.
Yeah, that there are 18 teams now.
Yep.
It's hard to. I know that the Western schools have now been a part of the conference for 3 days officially, but it's going to take a while for me, and I think a lot of people, to associate Oregon and USC and UCLA and Washington with the Big Ten. Like, walking past the uniforms on the mannequins every day, like, that was just so weird to me, seeing the Big Ten logo on USC. And honestly, one of the things that I'm going to be paying attention to this season, as a person who loves college football and as an AP Top 25 voter, is once we get into conference play, how do those schools mesh? Like, does their Pac-12 speed, like, how does that go against the more the physicalness of the Big Ten? Obviously, talking season doesn't answer any of those questions, but that was just one of the things that I couldn't get out of my head, conference-wise, when we were at Big Ten Media Days.
I'm with you on that. And it's funny because I knew Dan Lanning was going to be there. I knew Lincoln Riley was going to be there, but I'm sitting there at our table doing the show as the ticket. And then I just see Lincoln Riley walk by and I'm like, wait, what's he doing? Oh, that's right. USC is a part of the Big. Like, that was my first, like, oh yeah, that's right. They're supposed to be here. They're not infiltrating Big Ten Media Days or something like that. All right. What would be your biggest takeaway from Nebraska, whether it be something Matt Rule said, Troy Dannon, or otherwise?
Yeah, I think the thing that I took away, or the big thing that I took away, was the column that I wrote that day. I asked Matt Rule what he thought a successful season would look like. And when I asked that question, this is kind of inside baseball, but how people answer that question tells me a lot about what they value as people. So when you ask that question and people like immediately come back with a number, to me, that tells me that they don't value the process. They only value the result. And when Matt answered that question, he talked about, obviously a bowl game, you need to get there, but he went on and on and on and gave a really thorough answer just about the hard work and the process and how he thinks that they're going to be good, and all of those things. And that is what I took away from it the most, is just because this is a crucial season for Nebraska. Obviously, yes, it's year 2 for Matt. So very early in his tenure by any stretch of the imagination, but Nebraska fans are done being patient.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's been too long for any bowl game of any sort, and not to drink the Kool-Aid at all, believe me. I feel like that's not the ceiling. I feel like that's the floor, just based off of how everybody's been talking, what Nebraska looked like in practice the other day, and then you look at who their opponents are. I think 6 isn't the ceiling, it's the floor, or at least it should be.
I think that's fair. Even when we chatted with Matt, he looked at us and said, if we don't make a bowl game this year, we got real problems. Like, that came straight out of his mouth to us when we were chatting with him. And then when I asked Troy Dannon about expectations, he said, you know what? Our expectations inside the football building are even higher than those outside of the building. So I thought those two statements were very telling without, like you said, putting an exact number on it. And as you know, Rule even said later on, he said, if I say 10-2, then I'm saying I expect to lose 2 games. And I don't want to say that. So I thought it was a great answer. I thought it was also a great way of not answering the question while also answering the question at the same time. I am curious though, because you are a top 25 voter. So let's say at the end of the year, and you haven't seen any of these games. This is all projection. It's kind of for fun for now, but I'm kind of curious what your mentality is. Let's say there's a 9-3 SEC team, and you're like looking at your ballot. It's the 12-team college football playoff. It's the final poll, okay? And you're looking at that a 10th, 11th, 12th seed potentially. Right now, without having seen any games played and how the season's played out, would you put more value on like a 9-3 SEC team? Or would you put more value on an 11-1 Big 12 team? And I know there's a lot of variables that we're kind of guessing about right now, but just kind of, I'm curious your mentality as you enter this season, how you might approach voting.
Yeah, so for me, I spend hours and hours on my ballot. So for me, obviously the overall record, you look at that, right? But I also look at schedule. If that SEC team lost to the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 teams, and the Big 12 team lost to some team that like an FCS team or something, like how do you value that? As we stand here right now, I guess I would need to look at strength of schedule. I'd need to look at, how they've been doing lately. What are their good wins? Like, how have they been doing more recently? Like, how old are their wins? Their losses, like that type of thing. But I guess without knowing, my gut says to go Big 12, but I could be persuaded the other way. It just kind of depends on what those SEC losses were, if they were good or not. Air quotes on good, obviously.
Yeah.
And then, just how things played out. And then obviously, like, for that 12-team playoff, a group of 5 team has to make it in there. So are they in there already, or do we need to put them there and kick both of those teams out from contention, right? So there's a lot of moving pieces. Obviously, it's gonna year one might be a little interesting, and I'm curious to see what the committee values too, because my vote is not like, the AP is a very big deal, but the committee vote is what actually matters, and I'm interested to see if they get it right this year. Because I had plenty of qualms with how they did it.
Yeah, you're not the only one over the years. I'm sure you're aware of that. It's going to be. I think year one's going to be so interesting because there's going to be like a Big Ten or SEC team that's 9-3, and again, we don't know the wins and the losses and when and to who and how it all happened. And there's going to be like an 11-1 Big 12 team, and the committee is going to have to figure that out, and it's going to be fun to watch. And I'm curious to see what they value, what they don't value. And I'm with you. And the argument of will they get it right? I mean, that's all very, very relative and subjective to each person, as we all know. I've said since day one, I think like the Big 12, I kind of view it as America's conference because it's wide open. There's so many teams that can win. There's so much more there's a lot more parity, I think, at least on paper. It's going to be some high scoring, exciting games, even though I think the best football, and a lot of people think this obviously is going to be played in the Big 10 and SEC. So it's going to be interesting to watch. Okay, let's talk about Nebraska's open practice the other night. Let's just start right off the top with Dylan Raiola. He's gotten rave reviews from that practice. What were your thoughts on Dylan Raiola as you observed him in the open practice?
The way the ball comes out of his hand, it's perfect. Like, he looks so crisp and so clean. He had a touchdown during team period with kind of a back shoulder, like almost end zone fade type of situation that I thought was really good. It was really pretty. The defense on that pass, though, too, was pretty good. It wasn't like the guy was wide open or anything. But yeah, I really liked what I saw from him. Obviously, there's 120 different guys moving around out there, so I didn't just like key in on him the entire time. If you do that, you miss other stuff. But yeah, I liked what I saw from him. And as I sit here right now, I think the job is his. I don't feel like that's super controversial to say.
It's not.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to, right? But I don't know. I think the job is his. I think that my favorite part of the entire practice, though, and I'll write about this in a couple weeks, maybe when I do my big thing on him, but the defense had to run a gasser, and Dylan ran with him anyway. Like, that is so telling to me who he is as a person, what he expects of himself, and that he's a team first guy. He's not just offense. He's on the team. He's going to run it anyway. And I don't know. That moment just told me a lot about him, even though it was one gasser, not like 12.
I do agree with you, though. I think that's incredibly telling because he didn't have to do that. He chose to do that on his own. All right, let's look at some of the other position groups. All right, you look at team position group number 1. Emmett Johnson was in at running back. You also saw Irvin and Ramir Johnson pop in there as well. Tight end was Thomas Fedoni. Wide receivers, Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nayor. All right, and then I talked about the offensive line a little bit before you joined the show, but those linemen were Turner Corcoran, Justin Evans, Jenkins, Ben Scott, Micah Mazuka, Bryce Benhart. Of those other positions, what maybe stood out to you the most, or what do you find the most interesting from what you observed at the practice the other night?
The thing that I find the most interesting is the running backs. After watching them at practice, I still don't know who's going to start. And I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think they're all very talented in their own way. I think that they all deserve a chance. And I would not want to be in those offensive meetings trying to figure out who to go with. The one thing that worries me is, as good as Gabe is, can he make it through a whole season without getting injured? I don't know. But, man, when he is healthy, he's unstoppable. You know, same with Ramir. He's more of like a multi-threat type of guy because he can do just about everything because he's built a little different, right? But then you saw what Emmett Johnson did last season. And you're like, well, like, yeah, he made some freshman mistakes, but, like, he was also a freshman and wasn't exactly intending to play because in what world do your number 1 and number 2 running backs get hurt in the same game early in the season? And he redeemed himself. And I thought, like, how do you not give him a chance to, you know, have that spot back? I don't know what they're going to do there. I don't know what the right answer is. But I'm glad that they're the ones having to make the decision and not me.
Yeah, that's why they get paid the big bucks. Yeah, it's interesting because I think running back is probably the most intriguing position on the offensive line, obviously outside of the quarterback position. And you look at tight end Thomas Fedoni, he looks different this year as well. He's clearly been in that weight room. He looks good. Give me your thoughts on the wide receivers. Obviously, you got Banks, Nayor. Who else kind of stood out to you? I'm always curious to see what Malachi Coleman's doing. I know he's been banged up, you know, a little bit in the spring anyways. But talk to me about some of the other receivers in that room as well who may have stood out to you.
Yeah, so naturally, Jalen Lloyd did not practice on Saturday. He was over in what they call the pit on the stationary bike and doing some, like, weightlifting stuff and whatnot. So he wasn't practicing, but he was there. And he's the one that I'm really going to be paying attention to this season. I think we saw flashes of what he could do last year. And I don't know. I've got a feeling that he can run it back in a very special way this season. I feel the same about Malachi. And then I wonder what, and this is a dark horse, so if I'm wrong, it's fine. Ja'Cory Barney, man, he might not see the field on offense as much, but if they don't use him at punt return, I give up. Like, I don't know. I'm just so impressed with him. And we saw that in the spring, too, and then saw that a little bit at practice as well the other day. And I don't know. I like it. I think, hey, any way that they can get better on punt return, because, man, it's been rough going there lately. But I think that he could be a game changer for them in that position.
I'm 100% with you. We have to have just any sort of a threat back there, and he's more than just any sort of a threat. And like you said, he showed that in the spring. He's got some some elusiveness, speed. He's got some playmaking ability. And I would be absolutely elated just to have some sort of a threat, let alone a legit threat like him back there returning kicks for us. All right, Amy, I want to thank you for joining me. Everybody, you can follow her at Amy_just on X. Where else can they find you and the great work that you do, Amy?
Yeah, so journalstar.com is where most everything is. For me, Husker Extra as well. And as a quick teaser, I have a massive project that I've been working on for over a year, starting to come out on Sunday. So stay tuned for that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that sounds exciting. Be sure to check that out and follow everything that Amy's been doing as she covers the Huskers for this upcoming season. All right, thank you again for joining me, Amy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from a program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and my schedule can get a little hectic. From softball practices to going to class, traveling for games, spending time with family, and catching up with friends, I am always on the go. I want a bank that can help me from anywhere, but also be there when I need them. That's Midwest Bank. They have the same mobile banking technology as those big banks, but have that hometown feel that I like every time I walk through the doors. They make banking easy no matter where I am. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Experience a cleaner tomorrow with Niederhaus Refuse. Whether it's weekly residential pickups, large-scale commercial disposals, recycling, or roll-off, Niederhaus's team is here with reliable, efficient service and the most advanced solutions. Discover the difference that a committed and experienced waste management company can make. Niederhaus Refuse has been in business for over 100 years and is family-owned and operated since 1921. Call Niederhaus Refuse at 402-475-8361 and visit their website at nbrefuselincoln.com to learn more or sign up for your service today.
Come enjoy a show of the Midwest's best MMA on Saturday, August 10th at the Complex, the former location of Champions Fun Center. 9 fights are scheduled for the night, including professional lightweight and welterweight bouts and the main event of Donnie Bush versus Micah Washington in the professional welterweight championship bout. Doors open at 6 p.m. with first bout at 7 p.m. Learn more about the MMA fighters and buy tickets at thecomplexlincoln.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Ready to add a dash of Southern flavor to your week? At Wings and Rings, their brand new Southern fried wings have arrived for a limited time. Indulge in the irresistible goodness of large, traditional bone-in wings coated in a crispy beer batter and fried to perfection. Try them with hot honey or any other sauces. And for those busy summer days coming up, look no further than their Southern Fried Wings Family Bundle. Wings and Rings, 2 Lincoln locations on O Street or Village Lane.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $25.60 per hour, which grows to $30.12 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $34.51 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacations for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No tag-ons, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
You're listening to Adam Carriker on The Ticket on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Adam Carriker on The Ticket. All right. Chatted about Dylan Raiola early on the show. Gave reactions to his performance in Nebraska's open practice. Also his twin brother, a.k.a. Patrick Mahomes. Chatted with Amy Just, who does a phenomenal job. Check her out, all right, on X and Lincoln Journal Star as well. She's got a massive project she let us know she's been working on for a year. She's going to drop this Sunday, so make sure that you check it out. All right, I want to give some of my final thoughts on some of the other offensive positions. And the offense is still in the show today. As a defensive guy, this is like borderline blasphemous, but the offense gets all the headlines and the defense wins the games. That's just how it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you look at the running back position, because to me, that is the other most intriguing position on the offense, is the running back position. Defensively, it'd be that cornerback spot. Okay, opposite Tommy Hill, but we'll get to that. Don't worry. All right, the defense will have its day. All right, you look at the running back position. It appeared as though Emmett Johnson was getting a good portion of those first team reps at a running back. And as I mentioned earlier, okay, it also looked like, and it's funny, I had a friend text me, okay, said it looked like, oh, Emmett Johnson's getting a lot of the reps in there. And then in parentheses, it said also Irvin Johnson. I was like, Irvin Johnson, Magic Johnson? Like, who are you talking about? I missed the comma. It said also Irvin, as in Gabe Irvin, comma, Johnson, as in Ramir Johnson. But at first, I was so confused for about 5 minutes. I'm like, Irvin Johnson, who the heck is that? Is he on a football team? Because that'd be great. I don't know how good he would be at this point in his life, but it'd still be awesome. Okay, 6'9" running back. That'd be interesting. All right, but Gabe Irvin and Ramir Johnson were the other two who kind of got some of those first team reps, so to speak. And that second group, you saw Dante Dowdell and Quentin Ives coming in there a little bit. And it's funny because I agree with Amy. Gabe Irvin has been dubbed the starting running back by two different coaching staffs here at the University of Nebraska. Scott Frost. Okay, and I mentioned this in the past, but Gabe Irvin, think of all the great running backs in Nebraska's history. I mean, if I tried to go down the list would take up the time of the rest of the show that we have. But you all are very smart fans. You probably know who they are to begin with, but not one of them until Gabe Irvin had ever started the first game of their true freshman year. Gabe was the first to ever do it, okay? And that was under Scott Frost's staff. Then Matt Rule comes in last year. If you remember, he was the running back he was talking about in the offseason. He was named the starter, obviously got banged up. So Gabe, when he is healthy, is beyond a quality running back. just got to stay healthy. So I like the idea of a great 1-2 punch. Okay, and you can use 3 running backs if you got that many quality running backs. It's kind of hard to get in the groove and stay in the groove and stay lathered up, so to speak. My old D-line coach used to say, all right, let's go out, let's get warm, let's get lathered up, boys. It's hard to stay lathered up if you got that many guys rotating in. Not that you can't do it, but I think having kind of a 2-headed monster, if possible, and then they got the talent to have more than a 2-headed monster at running back, but who's going to be the one guy that takes the bull by the horns? There's a lot of talented guys. Gabe Ervin, very talented. Can he stay healthy? Emmett Johnson showed what he could do as Nebraska's 4th string to 3rd string to 2nd string to 1st string running back. Coming out of the spring, I was like, man, he looks like the starter to me. You got Ramir Johnson, who's a good football player. Is he going to break out? Is he going to show us what he can do consistently in games? You got Dante Dowdell, who came here due to much fanfare and deservedly so. He is a Big Ten running back. Is he ready to carry the ball a ton? Don't know. Quentin Nyes, a guy Matt Rule's talked about in previous press conferences. Can you get 2 guys? I'd like to have a guy take the bull by the horns, but if you can have a 2 running back rotation, and Gabe can be one of those guys, whether it's Emmett, whether it's Ramir, whether it's whoever the case may be, you can have a great 1-2 punch. And then Gabe can be a part of that game plan. He can be a physical bruising running back and just get him to the halfway point of the season where he's healthy. Okay. And I'm not trying to knock the guy. He's just been banged up. He doesn't help us when he's not on the field. I want the guy on the field. He's too good a player not to be on the field, but you get a good 1-2 punch. And if he can be one of those 2 running backs in that 1-2 punch, he doesn't have to take as many blows, but he can deliver them, stay healthy, be with us longer throughout the season, be a big time contributor potentially behind a very experienced big offensive line. Okay, an offensive line coach going into his 3rd season. I use the word expectations for that offensive line for the first time in over a decade. Expectations, not potential. Potential is the ability to do big things, but you ain't done it yet. They haven't really done it yet, but I expect them to be better. How much better? We will see. And honestly, that falls on offensive line coach Donovan Raiola. Like, it's time for this offensive line to play better. That falls on his shoulders, and I'm excited to see what they can do. And I'm curious to see what becomes of that running back spot. Who steps up to be the starter? Do we have a 1-2 punch? How does the depth look going into game 1? All right, you look at the wide receiver spot. You got Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nayor, Thomas Fedoni at the tight end spot. I mean, there's talent at those position groups. There is talent there. I mean, Malachi Coleman is a tall, fast, athletic kid. Okay, waiting for him to break out. Carter Nelson ran with the 2s, okay, at times in the open practice at the wide receiver spot. Matt Rule has called him a difference maker, true freshman as well. So I'm curious to see how that wide receiver spot develops beyond Nayor and Banks as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to pass the mic on to the happy hour. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Hopefully you have a gloriously glorious Monday. And until next time, go Big Red, and always remember to throw the ball.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
The weather is hot, the kids are out of school, and you're on your way to the lake and summer road trips. Are you getting to your vacation spot comfortably, or is your car letting you down? Mullen Motors Lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride for summer road trips and beyond. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
You can help fight deadly diseases like RSV and influenza while getting paid for your time. Velocity Clinical Research is now seeking clinical trial participants in your area. Participants can receive compensation for study-related time. No health insurance is needed to join. Find a study near you at velocitytrials.com. That's velocitytrials.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor